Hey folks, Twisted Christian here. Just want to give you guys an update on Design Oil and Gas. And so we are still waiting on news on their next potential update. I believe in a video I made last week, I said this is, within the next 7 days, we should be, we'll be at that 3-week mark, right? Because they were about a week behind. Usually when they were doing MJ1, we were getting updates every 2 weeks. So far, it's been 3 weeks, and we are approaching another day or so before that 3rd week. And so I kind of want everybody give you my thoughts and everything on Zion Oil. And one thing you have to understand that even though it's a Christian company, it operates in the world, right? It is bound by the laws concerning the stock market, and it's bound by the laws of trading. In their first update, they told us that they were able to get a depth of 3,000 feet, right? So I would expect in the next update, maybe around anywhere from 6,000 to 7,000 feet. If I see anything beyond that, then I would say that they are ahead of schedule, right? And we don't know if there's going to be delays, folks. So that's one of the things that I do want to discuss here in this video about Zion Oil. Because one of the things that I've realized, and I look at, and I've showed you guys the fake news articles about how all the institutional investors are banking on Zion Oil back in 2019 when they didn't even have a rig up. There was nothing going on. They were getting ready to be delisted. And so they shorted the heck out of the stock is what they really did. And so right now, the way that I'm looking at things is that really the people that are actually making money off of Zion Oil is the hedge funds, and it's the people that are shorting the stock. And I have a different approach when it comes to the stock being shorted and everything, especially dealing with Zion Oil. Now, I am going to go ahead and share some numbers. And now the whole thing with the short interest and all that, it's difficult to explain. And sometimes figuring it out is not always accurate. The information you get online is not always exactly accurate. But right now there are 14 institutions that are involved in the Zion Oil, right? And they have their 13F filings and they have their 13G filings. So just going back and looking back, I'm seeing all these different groups, and some of these groups were shorting the stock. And one thing you guys have to understand, this is how they operate, okay? What some of these hedge funds do is that they invest in the company, right? Let's say they come in and they buy 1 million shares of Zion Oil, right? And then they use their computer algorithmic programming, trading or whatever, and they also short the stock at the same time. So whether the stock goes up or whether the stock goes down, they're covered on both ends, right? So the only people that really are making money, for those of you who are, selling on the high and buying on the low, I'll give you this example. When Zion Oil was at $1.60, if many of you had your stop loss limit at $1.30, then over the next few days it just came, crashing down, and all of your orders would have sold at $1.30. Right now, you see where the price is at now, and it's currently trading at 73 cents. So, and it actually got lower than that. I think it actually got in the 60s during that time period. Yeah, 67 cents. So, I understand about buying and holding, and that's good if you are doing that to first get the shorts out, and if you've invested at a low rate, right? You want to try to buy and hold and let that thing grow. And so if most of you would have had that, you would have sold most of your stocks, right? Because you don't have to put all your stocks on a stop loss. But at least you would have been able to go back in when it was in the 60s, and you could have doubled your Zion Oil and Gas purchase, thus taking, and if you're a buyer, if you're a holder, and you're going to hold those until the next spike, because you know what, folks, in the next spike, right, even with this last piece of news, we didn't really see a spike, right? And everybody's expecting this thing to go up to $2 and $3. And until they find oil, and they give you the test results, that's when we get closer to that point. It might start trading at $2 or $3 a month before we actually get those results. But this thing is going to be trading on an up and down. And if you have 100,000 shares and you see that sucker go up, and then, you know, after a day or so it's starting to slide back down, you put in your stop loss, right? And then it slides back down to where, okay, now I can go ahead and buy back more. You're still investing. You know, that's the reason why behind the concept of buying in the dip. See, you're selling on the highs, and really when you put a stop loss order, you're not selling on the high. You're preventing any losses that you might have gained when you first initially bought the stock. Then you're able to go back in. See, if you sold off at $1.30, right? You got in, say for 65 cents. Look, now you can buy double the stocks that you had before. Now, I will say this, that the short interest that is on Zion Oil, just going back all the way to the 5th and all the last trading days, all the way back to the 5th of February, you know, it looks like it has actually gone down a bit from the previous past. I think as we get closer, we're not going to see as many shorts in the stock. So when you do see a bump, you know, take advantage of the stop loss and then go back and repurchase more, you know. But that's up to you. But what I would really like to see out of Zion Oil and Gas right now, and if people really want to see, if you really want to get a lot of people in, right now at this point, it's going to be very difficult to get a lot of people to buy and hold at that price. And I think that what we really need is we really need a price drop to about 50 cents. And then, you know, everybody goes in and they buy and they hold onto the stock. I think that's another way. There is this, and that's one thing that's interesting. There is this, I'm not sure what this is. This must be like a security. They have 23 million shares. I don't know. Maybe sell off a couple million of those shares, drop the price down to the 40s and 50s, and everybody just, you know, gobble it all up. I most definitely would be down to see something like that, and in the long run, it probably would be better. But I'm not a financial expert. I'm not a financial advisor. I am just somebody who's looking at the stock, and I'm just somebody who is giving you my opinion. So I just want to give you that update on that and what's kind of going on, especially with the short interest. And you know, the short interest really helps keep the stock down, and they helps keep the stock in place while they, you know, computer trade back and forth with each other. And so they're making money off the top and they're making money on the bottom. So this is a fight, and I'm not sure many of you may understand this as far as the short interest is basically people betting against the company. You know, and I start looking at these 13Fs. You know, these are companies that are coming in and out of the company. They're shorting the stock. They're investing. They're pulling out, whatever. So a lot of these guys are the ones that are making money off of you. And even, look, folks, I told you in the long-term video my opinion about what's going to happen even if they strike oil. It's going to go up, but it's also going to come back down because, folks, you know what? They're not generating any revenue right now. They may already have a plan in place to start pumping the oil, but they got to get all that set up. We're still talking about, even if they were to announce tomorrow they have oil, this is the grade, and they're to start pumping. Yes, it's going to go up. It could go up to $50, but where is it going to settle at? It's not going to stay at $50. In my opinion, if it goes up to 50 and you set your stop loss at 40, folks, you're not going to lose, because when it goes back down, you can buy back in and you'll be able to buy more stocks, right? And more shareholders will be the owners of even more stocks, right? So that's just the way I look at it. You know, they've been cheating us. The system has been cheating Zion Oil investors for a very long time. And me going back and looking at the patterns, back at what the institutions are doing, shorting the stock and all that, and they're trying to pull it down. You know, they're trying to keep it down. And these guys know how to trade oil companies too, as well. These securities. They know that Zion Oil doesn't have any. They don't have revenue. They don't even have one well yet. So folks, that's what they are banking on. Anybody who's shorting the stock by the time we are in the 5th or the 6th month of this, they are really betting against the company, because if an announcement of oil would crush the shorts. So I'll be interested to see over the long term, how those percentages, if they shrink or if they grow. That's going to be very important. Anyways, folks, I thank you for listening. God bless. With that being said, Twisted Christian out.